my comment got pulled, so I'm going to repeat it. I think it's interesting that in the translation, and then Jim kind of looked at it a little bit, that their nickname for the Russians is motherfuckers or motherfucker, singular or plural.
Yep.
And it makes me wonder how sanitized World War II movies were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like those Nazis, those Huns, like
Those
the Krauts. You would hear that.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly. They didn't probably say that.
So I went and saw this in the theater with my friend, and when we left the movie, we were very quiet for a while.
I imagine.
And we get back on the highway driving back up to North Seattle, and she looks at me and she goes, I really admire their commitment to continually using the word motherfucker to refer to the Russians. And it's like, yeah, they do. And you know what? That's what you would call somebody who is invading your home too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Until they invent a worst word. Oh, yes.
Right.
But
no, they can always just call them Belgians.
I couldn't think of anything worse.
I think we only saw one prisoner who was alive, right? Taken in innocent.
Yeah, they took one guy alive.
Yeah, and
the rest of the Russians we saw were bodies.
Yes.
They tried to take the other guy alive, and what did he do? He fucking tried to throw a grenade at them.
It's like, God.
He did throw a grenade, but apparently it didn't go off, right? I saw him throw it, and then there was no bang.
It was probably, World War II.
Well, the thing about this movie one of the things that I really like this movie. It did a fucking number on my head.
Same here.
One of the things that I really like about this movie was, as I was mentioning to Tad offline, that it really leaned into what I think is a sort of like stupid and small. I mean, compared to all the war movies we've watched, like the gun noises, the grenade noises, people throwing shit at each other, just a lot of yelling at each other from across ditches. And it's like, if not for the fact that those 7.62 rounds will put a big fucking hole in you if they even like get anywhere near something important and like take you out immediately. This is kids throwing sand, dirt clods.
Yeah, basically.
Well, it is.
It's
kids.
right, and that's
it is kids.
It is kids, yeah.
And it's absolutely unspectacular.
So unspectacular, but
it's so mundane.
And then the first
they're dealing with a piece of land that's as wide as my apartment.
Yeah.
Dude,
that was so crazy.
The description before I started watching the film said they had to go through a forest to get to the town.
Right, and then it's calling it a forest.
Oh my lord!
Yeah,
it's like you mean these sticks?
Yeah, they're big. Well, that's it's weird to watch.
It used to be a forest.
Yeah, it's as wide as my backyard.
It's weird how war can just chew up the scenery like that. I mean, every single leaf is gone.
Well, but how many times are the guys just
spewing their bullets out there
in a general direction?
Oh yeah, the trees didn't have a chance, but yeah. So in other words, this is that strip of land. Either side is a minefield. So this is almost like a video game where you got down at one line.
So for 3/4 of the running time, or whatever, 5/8 of the running time of this movie is Call of Duty with real consequences, but a more mundane, stupid version of Call of Duty. And then
I got
there's
video
a
game
smash
vibes.
cut.
Yeah,
there is a smash cut to the moms.
Yeah,
and that's like fuck.
Remember Reality? It's like, oh god.
Well, it's a way of really leaning into. You've watched what looks like the lamest first-person shooter.
Yeah,
but this is the consequences.
Right.
The part where the drone is over the cemetery.
Oh
and
yeah,
just holding there over.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Just the flags.
All the flags.
Because right before that, he's like, they said this is the 56th one of these funerals that they've had in this town.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I did.
just like,
I don't know. Press the button.
I don't know how to process that. Like, I don't know how to process 56 funerals in the last year, because this is filmed in 2023.
Right.
56 funerals in the last year in this town of like 1,000 people.
They're probably not at 56 by now. You think about it.
Well, and that's I mentioned to Tad, like, I really like this movie, and if nothing else, it was a pretty healthy dose of perspective, because Scott's point, it's like in the week since we've talked, it's just like one goddamn thing after another. But imagine this.
The size of Ukraine and Ukraine's population is very similar to California.
Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, I would love to sit some GOP assholes against funding the Ukraine down, like Alex DeLarge and Clockwork Orange, and make them watch this. Because exactly. This is this is what these people are going through. This is why that's one of the most disappointing things that happened during the last election is we stopped backing these people up because they're just doing a magnificent job. And this is the worst circumstances on earth, it's
with
like
nothing.
With nothing. Nothing.
And but that last shot, like, oh look, the flag is up there against, like, literally there's not even the guy knows, like, there's nothing left.
There's no town here. Yeah,
there's nothing to hang the flag on.
There's nothing to hang the flag on.
And also that movie Hamburger Hill back in 1987, which is this made me think of a lot of war movies, primarily Hamburger Hill, because that is a whole movie about people getting chewed up for nothing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the movie I mentioned in the chat, which I hadn't seen in a really long time, but rewatched a couple days ago, 84 Charlie Mopic, which to my knowledge was the first person shooter version of a war movie. No one remembers this thing, but it's basically Vietnam with a camcorder, and the whole movie is from the perspective of a guy filming it for the news.
Wow.
But it's the same thing. It's just like constantly like, where are the bullets coming from? I don't know. Oh, he just died.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And this is the much more vivid graphic version. Oh, by the way, it's fucking real.
Yeah.
And from a filmmaking perspective, I thought, like, he could have just had nothing but the GoPro footage, but the way he put it all together, telling the story of this march across this forest to nothing, and then again that smash cut to the last 20 minutes of the movie, which is just fucking tragedy. I mean, the highest praise I can give this is immediately after finishing it, I went and watched his other movie,
right,
which I had yet to see, the 20 Days of Mariupol, which is
this on par? Is it on par with this?
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
It's equally depressing and equally impressive in equal measures.
Okay.
It's actually way more depressing than this because it deals largely with a civilian population.
Right.
Whereas
there's a lot more dead babies, unfortunately.
Yeah, they were trapped in Mariupol during the invasion.
You will watch children die in
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Well, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't pick that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But these are at least all a bunch of grown-ups and who are doing all the fighting here.
Well,
grown-ups. And then that last scene,
college students.
How many names did it take you guys to figure out what was happening in the present scene?
Well,
it took me a few.
The
last shot.
What present?
The last shot.
They're doing like a roll call, and then they would say present.
Those are all the people that died.
How many names did it take you to realize what was actually happening?
Not until they got to
somebody that we knew.
Somebody we knew from the film.
One.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody we knew from the film. I can't think of the name.
I think I figured it halfway through, but
I suspected, but until they called his name, I was like, oh
yeah. Most of the guys who had speaking parts in this film died within 6 months afterwards.
But that's he says that at the beginning.
I know. Actually, he narrates it as we go. He says this person died.
He says at the beginning. He says this is the story of this forest and the people who will never leave.
Right.
And if you listen to that, you realize he is going to highlight these people
who didn't make it,
who don't get to leave. Like, like this guy's gonna die 5 months from now, and they're never gonna find his body. This guy's gonna the whole scene. My favorite scene in the whole movie is the scene where they're sitting in that cutout with the guy who's 46 years old, and he's talking about how his wife's got to bring water in, he's got to go home and fix the toilet, and they're talking about the hand-rolled cigarettes and all of that other stuff. And you're like,
slows him down.
Right, and this guy's awesome. Like, you're just like, I would love to hang I would love to hang out with this guy and have a fucking, cigarette and a beer with him. And then he's just like 6 months later, he's dead.
I know.
And it's just like
I got attached too.
That happened at least twice. Because he did it with Freak earlier in the film. He does it with Freak.
Freak
Don't call me a hero. I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
Freak's 22. He grew up during all of this. Like, you can tell that he has that kind of like battlefield dementia where he doesn't really care what's going on and stuff. Like, this guy is normal.
Yeah.
Like, he is a normal fucking dude. And when he's talking about like, I'm scared about my wife because my wife is scared about me.
Right.
And like that whole conversation, and he's got a grandson too. He's like, she's helping with the kids and she's helping with the grandkids. We have a baby at home and like all that other stuff. And then he's just like, no, he died. He died 6 months later. He got wounded. He died in a hospital.
Yeah.
And
those were the hardest moments for me to take. That and
Yeah.
the cutting back to the women in the village.
Yeah.
But just the fact that he would introduce you to these characters, you'd get to know them, and by the way, 6 months later, this person would die.
It's probably what it's like for everybody in those platoons.
Well, there's also the guy who gets killed on camera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
that
he,
too.
like, pokes his leg, and it's like, oh, I guess he's dead.
And he was moving around,
and then he
He
holds,
holds his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was moving around like 5 minutes before, and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we don't see that much in movies, and at all. At period underscore. It's like, yeah, it was really something. But
And then the guy who held his hand also died.
yeah,
Yes.
The guy whose footage you're seeing in that moment also died.
Yeah.
So a moment about the technique using basically put everybody in the platoon had a GoPro on them,
Yeah.
and they probably collected them up every night and then dumped them off and put it back on the next morning.
You see that
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, you do.
At the end of the movie, it's like, here's all the people we got footage from.
Right.
Like,
And they did that, and they also went out with it looks like a couple of Canon DSLRs and were just like shooting close. So it's like they got the coverage in this thing is astounding, and it's great. It's weird how well the GoPro works, even though it's like super wide angle. I mean, it's almost like it feels like that. Oh shit, that Douglas Trumbull movie. Brainstorm. Like Brainstorm. Like it's like if this was a wraparound screen thing, it would like wow. This,
well, there's also the part where you see them on the ground and they're engaging with the Russians on the other side of that berm, and then it cuts to the drone. They got the drone footage
Drone stuff.
of the drone going up over the top and then dropping the grenade on them, and then you see it land, and then it cuts back and you see the explosion from the other side, and it's just like the craft of getting
the director's like, wow, you couldn't do a better shot than that. That's like that was all three parts, bing bing boom. It was like really well done. That's just good coverage. Who financed this thing?
The AP and Frontline.
Okay, so PBS back in the day when it was a PBS and the
right.
There's still a PBS. There's no CPB.
No, okay.
Well,
CPB is shut down.
Frontline is WGBH in Boston.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
they call it GBH now these days.
Frontline will continue because they make enough money to continue funding it. And then
don't they have a deal with
like
Hulu or something?
I think so. So one of those streaming services.
Yeah.
Well, and they're also putting every Frontline episode goes up on YouTube.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
That's right. That's right. I pulled it. That's right. I pulled it.
Yeah. They're making money off of YouTube.
I watched it on fucking I TiVo'd it or whatever the hell we're DVR'd it.
Frontline's such a good program. They get so many good shows.
Judith's stepdaughter is a producer for Frontline, and she did the Tesla auto driving car episode that was really good.
Oh, neat.
Oh, I love that. All right. Well,
but Jared's been quiet.
Jared, you have anything to say?
No, I mean, I know this is important, but I don't want to see this kind of shit.
Oh, you didn't see it?
You didn't watch it?
No, I watched it. I don't need to see real people dying. I watch movies to watch people die fake.
Weirdly enough, that's an unimpeachable opinion. Actually,
Jared, I agree with you. The reason that I picked this is because I think it is so important that people see this specific movie about this thing that everyone sort of elides over the top of on the news, And I think that both of the movies that this guy has done about this conflict are incredibly important, not necessarily for the people in this group, but just in general, because people need to see that there's consequences to this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is, yeah, it is shoving your face directly into the consequences that probably most of us understand better than a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
But like, people need to know. People need to know that this is what's happening.
Right.
And they're not getting it.
No.
Right.
They are not getting it.
Well,
I always say that at the time of the Vietnam War, which was the televised war, and that was all 16 millimeter cameras they were dragging around.
Yeah.
But Americans would turn on the news nightly and see bodies and see destroyed.
There were those fucking body counts was the most depressing.
And then they would put up the
about
numbers
it.
of how many Americans had died. And so we thought the lesson of Vietnam was, we shouldn't do this kind of adventuring off in foreign countries, and the United States should not be the world's policeman and all that. None of that was the lesson of Vietnam. The real lesson of Vietnam was do it quickly and don't let anybody take any pictures.
That's true.
And that is why, both...
Oh, and get the press on your side
Iraq
too.
wars and everything else happened is because the memory fades. The people who saw that on TV are getting old and die, and we can be tricked into doing it again and again and again. And
your average
see shit like this every night on the fucking news.
True. Now the average a bit on the Ukraine war, on a major like on the big three or any news. Guy will talk about it. They'll show footage of a burning building and some people crying, maybe, and then maybe like a couple of talking heads or on the ground, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's like
that's everything that's happened in Palestine.
Yeah,
in the last 3 years.
And the point of this is that this is a Ukrainian journalist who is making this. Who is like, I love the part where they're talking to Freak and they're like, oh, where are you from? And he says, oh, I'm from this town that's like right over there. And they're like, oh, your Ukrainian's really good. And that's that moment where you remember that if you live in the eastern part of Ukraine,
you're usually Russian.
Speak Russian.
You don't learn Ukrainian. Everyone speaks Russian.
Right.
And the cultural genocide that the Russians have committed against the Ukrainians for the last 100 years, and he's like, oh yeah, I learned. I learned Ukrainian. And it's like, it doesn't sound much different to our ears between the Russian and the Ukrainian, but it's so important to them that this is their culture. And
that's why they're holding that. That's why they're holding that strip of territory. It's like, these are all Russian-speaking people. These are our people, and we're not letting it go. That's what the Russian. That's one of the reasons the Russians aren't letting go. Because they're claiming it culturally as theirs.
Well, and that's why,
and the Crimea too.
They're saying the whole fucking thing is theirs.
Yeah,
but they can't have that.
Are fighting so hard for this. Absolutely, as someone says in the movie, a town of ruins and bodies. Is that, no, this is our land. This is our home. Like, you don't get to just walk in here and take this, and we will fight you for every fucking inch.
Right.
Like, as long as we have the resources to do this, you are going to have to send so many of your people to take this that we will break you from that. And then I also want to bring up, if you had written the cat into a fiction film,
oh my God, the cat,
no one would believe you. Everyone would be like, this is the most overwrought thing I can
take that out. It's
imagine.
Not believable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and you watch the dude find the cat and then bring the cat back down to the basement. I found a cat. And everybody's like, hey, it's a cat.
And everybody gets to pet it.
Right.
And then they put it in the knapsack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you guys heard me mention a couple of times over the last few years that I used to have to do these Zoom calls with folks in the Ukraine because I was doing some work with them. And like the night, like I'd read like, oh my God, like I know they got shelled last night. And I would always like, my first thing in the call, is everybody okay?
Right.
You look at me like I have two heads and they like, Kiev is a very big city.
Yeah, right.
Like, well, yeah, we know. I think to myself, I guarantee you there's not one fucking American that would be able to be that blasé about a missile going off a few blocks from them.
Yeah.
And this and the other movie, the Mariupol movie, really kind of like, my God, what a fucking resilient bunch of lunatics, because they've been dealing with Putin's bullshit for a really, really long
time. That's a good way of putting it. A resilient bunch of lunatics. I think that's great.
This is pure proof positive that, there are horrible people in the world in charge of countries who make decisions based on bullshit, and the consequences, whether it be Putin or Trump, are very fucking real.
And very nice people dying for no particularly good reason.
Have figured out how, they may not like it, but man, I just I could not be this fucking calm. I could not be this fucking comfortable in this situation. I guarantee it. But they've grown up with it.
Yeah.
But they dealt with the Imperial Russian aggression against them. The Nestor Makhno and his group's rebellion at the time of the October Rebellion, then the aggression of the Soviets, then the aggression of the Germans.
Oh, the Nazis fucked that place up, man.
Right. Then the Holodomor, then the breakup of the Soviet Union, and now we're over a decade of Russian aggression towards them in both soft and hard ways.
Yeah.
And it's like, these people have never known peace.
Right.
No one in this country has ever known peace.
No. Institutional shell shock.
Yeah, it is. Right. Yeah, exactly. Jim, anything to counter with? You done?
No.
Okay, good enough. Well,
very good.
It was a good film. I guess we can do thumbs at this point because there's not much more to say. It was a great film. It was a documentary goes. It's great. It was just
a great experience.
It's one of the better documentaries I've seen in a while.